right in the center of your screen. So focus. See it bubbling? Timing cover gasket. There it is. Put the radiator cap on it and let it build up a little pressure to see if it was going to leak there, and it is. So definitely needs timing cover gasket. Hooey. Well, how many of y'all were shouting at the screen saying I forgot to put the water pump plate on? I did not put it on. Like I said, I'm not a Ford guy. Completely forgot about it. But, I mean, lucky us, timing cover gasket's leaking anyway, so we gotta pull it back down anyway. And this cover is looking pretty gross. So I went ahead and ordered just a new one. I think it was like 20 or 30 bucks for a brand new one. So as soon as it comes in, we'll tear it back down. We'll replace the timing cover gasket and put the new water pump plate on. Well, looking at the timing cover, look at that. That's where we were leaking. So this thing would have leaked whether we replaced the water pump and disturbed that gasket or not. Look at that. It had a hole. So this side almost. So all that effort we did to not break our timing cover, and it's no good. I mean, we could JB weld it and file it and all that, but or maybe braze it, but I'm not gonna mess with it. These are readily available. We're gonna order one. So we're gonna do a little fast forwarding here, and as you can see, things have changed. And to be honest, it's been a week, so I'm not sure where I left off as far as videoing, but you know, we had that leak and I thought it was a timing cover gasket. Turns out it was the timing cover itself once I got it apart. While I was in there, put a straight up timing set in there. Probably give you all that one as a separate video, but it's now got a straight up timing set. It's got a new timing cover, and of course new timing cover gasket, new water pump plate, and we've got our new water pump that we had already put on it back on it. And of course, never sees is everywhere. That's what that silver is. I did not want these water pump bolts to seize, and of course the threads themselves have some of that Permatex on it, that non-hardening thread sealer. I think it's, I don't remember if it's Permatex number 3 or what, but to keep any water out as well. Anyway, so yeah, we are kind of buttoned up, but we're gonna hit the pause button right here and shift gears. And I've got a Luxarad racing aluminum radiator that UPS dented in. It's got a little nick in it. Sent it back to the seller. He said, let him know if it leaks. So, hopefully it doesn't. This is a nice looking radiator. So here's that spot
I bent the little fins back the best I could. The core is pushed in just a hair. You can feel a little push, you know, where it dips in just a little bit, but I think it's okay. That's where the hole in the box was. So UPS did a little something there, kind of messed us up, but I really like this radiator. It's nice. All right, we got our radiator ready to go in. We transferred our bottom clips off the old radiator and then set the fan shroud in, got everything all lined up, then marked the 2 top holes and drilled holes and transferred, I think these are called, I want to say they're called speed nuts, but they're these little clips with clip nuts. Anyway, transferred those over for the top bolts, and everything looks like it's going to clear perfectly. We've got to transfer our 2 adapters for the transmission cooler over, and then screw in our overflow nipple. It's somewhere in this packaging. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then we'll be ready to fit this thing in. I guess I should have test fit it down in the radiator, or down in the car, before I drilled those 2 holes, but it is what it is. So that's the only modification I've had to do. Those clips were kind of a pain in the butt to get on there, but they're on there, and it seems like they're gonna work just fine on the bottom, and these will work just fine on the top. So thumbs up for the fitment. I'm running into some fitment issues. These pads are too close together to fit on the pads in the bottom of the core support. So this one, that one I think is okay. This one really should be right here. And it's probably just a difference in applications, but it is an issue. I can't get it to sit right. So here is my solution. Ideally, if you could weld aluminum, which I cannot, I don't have the setup to do it, you would just grind this off, move this tab over, weld it back. That would be the solution. I can't find the core support. The way it does is it slopes down, so you can't just move the mounts over, because then they're too short, and there's no way to mount them either. There's no way to move them. It's just, it is what it is. So this is what I came up with. This is just a piece of 1/2-inch PVC tie wrapped to the mount. So this is going to be our new mount. It's going to sit on here. I think it'll be okay. I don't think it'll cause any issues. I don't think it's going to rub. You know, it can't move, so I don't think it's going to like rub through the tank or anything. I guess we could put a little buffer there, you know, if we wanted to, but a little padding. But I think it'll be fine. It's held really tight. If you can see in there, I put a stainless steel tie wrap on there. That thing will probably last forever. They're super strong. You can't really see it in there, but that's what I attached first, and I put 2 just plastic ones on there just to help it, but I think the stainless steel one would have been plenty. So I'm gonna go check fitment, but I think we should be good now. It's the same issue on the top as well. Trying to think the best way to handle this. What I did is I put a piece of radiator hose in there to rest on the top mount, and so that top mount is about right here, and that radiator hose is sitting on top of it, so it's got it held in. You know, it's captured in this area right here. I'm just trying to decide if I want to do something else or just leave it like that. You know, I could do kind of the same thing, but we're really tight here, and I think that PVC would make it really tight. But it's in, but the mounts definitely are slightly off. So if you're looking for a radiator, look for them that has these mounts against the edge of the radiator, not recessed in like 1.5 inches. They need to be out here at the far edge. But it's on. That side lined up just fine. It's this side that's an issue. You know, just messing with it, trying to get it centered. I can tell that that side, driver's side, is fine. You know, all the mounts are good. It's this side, passenger side, the mounts are just, they're off by about 1.5 inches. So we made the bottom work. That worked out really well. It's captured in there. I don't think we'll have any issues with it. The top, I mean, it's okay. I don't know if I should bend this because it is right up against there. I don't know if it would wear in there. Maybe I could put a little pad there. I did end up cutting a finger off one of my gloves and put between the tank and that PVC, just so that would be a double layer of nitrite. These are pretty thick, so just to give it a little cushion. I don't think it would ever be an issue, but it's covered regardless. So yeah, could have been better, but it's there. If something smaller than 1/2 inch probably would be perfect, but yeah, it's just off. You know, there it is. Here's where it should be. So, but it's, I mean, it's in there tight. I think we can bend that out of the way. I don't think there's any way this thing is coming out. It's, like I said, it's captured right there. It can't come out. So I'm gonna bend that a little bit. I don't want it to rub into the radiator. Bent that out of the way. And then just me being paranoid, stainless steel tie wrap. It's not doing anything. This thing is held in place without that, but that's my safety. That makes me feel better about this situation. I really look for a radiator with the thing right here, with the pad right there at the edge of the radiator. That's all I can tell you. You will not have to go through this. I don't feel like we'll have any issues with this thing. This is getting covered up with the plastic thing, so it's not like you're gonna see this. Yeah. I'll put that there just to feel better about it. If for some reason this does decide to try to come out or whatever, it's got this holding it, and these things are super strong. Stainless steel. I don't think we need one on the other side, so I left it alone. This side's the only side I feel a little iffy about, but I mean, this thing is, it's in here. I don't see how it could ever go anywhere, but we're gonna just be real careful. So, and it's level, should be good. All right, I'll beat this thing to death. Spent way too much time trying to perfect it. Let's make sure our radiator cap will still open. Yep, it clears. Should be good. It's just, while we're here, we'll shove that on there. It's a monster radiator. I mean, it's definitely an upgrade, good upgrade. I'd do it again. Like I said, I would just, if it came down to, you know, there's a 3-core, I found a 3-core, and then this one's a 4-core. If it came down to the 3-core, you know, having the pads where it needed to be, and the 4-core not having the pads where it needed to be, I'd probably still choose the 4-core and just do these modifications. But you know, for the extra core and cooling, I think it's worth it. But yeah, if you can find a 4-core with the pads in the correct place, that's the way to go.
Just to add to this video real quick, I was editing it and had a thought, and so y'all can look at the 2 Mercedes here and the fire truck. Got to thinking about this car and the radiator and the fitment, and this car, the Lincoln, has the optional upgraded cooling system with optional lower, I think it's a 3.0 gear ratio. It's kind of like it's not like a towing package, but kind of is. Came with the bigger radiator. I think it was a 4-core versus the standard 3-core. And so I'm wondering if there may be a difference in the lower radiator bracket, lower radiator mount, and the upper radiator mount on the upgraded cooling system cars. And that may be why I'm having fitment issues, that if I didn't have, you know, that option code with the upgraded radiator, you know, the larger radiator, that this radiator may fit just fine. So what I'm probably going to do is just try to do a little research there, and if I ever find one of these things in the junkyard, maybe take a look at the lower radiator mount and that upper radiator cover mount, and if they are different, I will grab those to put on my car to make this radiator fit. But I'm wondering about that, and it makes sense in my head, so maybe that's the issue I'm facing.
Well, I spared y'all the boring details of getting this thing back together. Y'all have seen me do it before. No need to show it again. It went together just like it did before. I hate those water pump fan bolts, but they're in. I wish they would make that circle just a tad larger where you get a ratchet wrench on there, but it's too close to the shaft of the fan, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. But they're on, and I forgot what I said I was going to do, which was put the fan on before I put the radiator on. So I did not do that, but oh well. Which probably turns out to be better anyway, because I had this radiator in and out so many times. Yeah. Crankshaft pulley is torqued. All I got to do is tighten up the belts and fill it up with coolant. So I'm going to go knock that out real quick. And then I think I'm going to take some time and kind of go through the vacuum lines real quick and just kind of plug them up. See what's what and see if I can plug some stuff off that's got some vacuum leaks. I want to get this thing where it'll idle really well, because we're going to have to set the timing. What I did is I'm thinking this thing's going to want around 10 degrees, probably 10 to 12 degrees of timing. So, you know, initial. So I went ahead and just put a dot on the balancer at the 10 degree mark, so we can kind of use that as a reference to get ourselves close. And we'll probably just set it at 10 and see how it does. Like I said, since we did our timing's going to be off since we put the straight up timing set in it. I think it's going to be 8 degrees advanced, if I've done my math correctly. Well, if it was 4 degrees at the crank, which we're assuming, then it's 8 at the timing, which should, in theory, throw the distributor 8 degrees off, which it was retarded before, so that should be advanced. So we should need to probably back it off around 8 degrees. Like I said, I'm guessing. But we want to make sure this thing will idle well while we're doing that. You know, we want to make sure we're not and, you know, it's not idling high, and we've got some mechanical advance thrown in there while we're trying to set the, you know, the base timing. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll bring y'all back and we'll crank this thing up. I gotta hook up a fuel system again on it, get some gas, and we'll see if we can get this thing idling well enough to set the timing on it. Oh, I'm gonna put the dipstick back in it. Oh, I'm gonna change the oil. I'm not gonna do the filter. I'm just gonna dump the oil out of it. Just in case while I was cleaning that gasket surface, I did, you know, put a rag covering the oil pan, but just in case some got knocked down in there, I want to go ahead and just dump this oil out. It's got 5 minutes of run time. Kind of hate to do that, but we're not going to change the filter because the filter's fine. And this thing hasn't turned over. I just want to, if there's anything that dropped down in the oil pan, I want to drain that out. I'm just paranoid like that. So we're going to dump that oil, fill it back up. It's only 4 quarts of oil we're talking about, so I'd rather do that than have some stuff, you know, getting stuck in the pickup. So, all right, let's get busy. Now, I'm not one to just start unplugging vacuum lines and disconnecting stuff, but somebody's been here before me because this stuff's not making sense on how it was hooked up. This whole thing looped from the manifold to the carburetor with all these over here plugged up. One of these says carb, the other one says distributor or dist, but neither one of them went to the distributor. The distributor one had one that went over with a T in it that went off somewhere that was mouse chewed. So I just left that line there and put a plug on the mouse chewed wire or mouse chewed hose. And then I went ahead, it was plugged up to the carburetor right there, but I went ahead and just put a plug on the carburetor because we're gonna disconnect the vacuum advance while we're doing this. This whole mess plugged into the manifold right there. That top cap was already there. The side cap I put on, it was this conglomeration of hoses that one went to that side cap and the other one went into the carburetor right there under that fuel line. And so I capped that. This makes no sense how this was hooked up, you know, from manifold vacuum to carburetor vacuum with everything else plugged up. Something's not right here. Somebody was just plugging up some stuff, but that makes no sense. So we're taking it out, we're plugging it up, we're saving it because we will, you know, look at a vacuum diagram, which I don't have one. We'll look at a vacuum diagram and see what we got. Now, the hose going from that vacuum canister goes along over here. It was mouse chewed. I don't have another hose, so I just capped it. So we're less one canister, but at least we don't have a vacuum leak. There was a hose looping around and nothing plugged into the pull-off, the choke pull-off. So that's manifold vacuum. I just plugged it into the choke pull-off. Probably right. So yeah, these I think are just thermal switches, so there's no use in just plugging them. Pretty sure that's what they are. So yeah, I think we've got everything kind of done. This one goes over to that manifold. I think this goes to the air cleaner. I don't know. It's just got I threw a spark plug in there to plug it. But yeah, I think that goes to the air cleaner. And so I feel like I put a plug right there. I don't know what that is. I don't know, but I plugged it. So yeah, I think we are hooked up my fuel hoses. I just need to drop them in a fuel can, and then I think we're ready to, I'm gonna go ahead and put some water in it, and then we can go ahead and start it up. You need to get my timing light, get all that set up. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the distributor bolt, just loosen it and then just snug it back down so I can have that ready to turn. And then I think we'll be ready to go. Come on. Trying to get where y'all can see it on camera. Anyway, I think the frame rate on the camera is messing with us. But we're at 21 degrees, but it's idling a little fast. That's 10 right there. I'm gonna bump it just a hair. Let's try to get it around 11 or 12. That's 11 right on the dot. I'm gonna leave it there. I said I was gonna do it at 11. We're gonna put it at 11. I guess we could see what our total timing is. Almost need help though to do it. That's 29. I feel like it had some more in it. I just couldn't prop the throttle. We'll see. Like I said, I really need a tachometer on it, and I need somebody helping me. And we need to know what the max advance is at what RPM, and you know we can kind of tune things from there. So it's good enough for now. That's going to get us in the ballpark of it running decent. It shouldn't kick back trying to start or anything like that. We're probably a little conservative on the timing, but yeah, until we can kind of tune this thing and I can get some help and we can do the carburetor, get this thing idling smoother, all that kind of stuff, we're leaving it here.